Fix the Awan brothers. This is part two. I know I keep saying I'm going to fix my refresh rate, but I haven't yet. What I'd like to do is just let everybody know my Twitter account. My Twitter account, this is who I'd like to keep sending it to, Wayne Madsen Reports at WMRDC. I just talked to Charles Ortel, by the way, who's a great investigator. He likes complex frauds. That's what he kind of does. He did really well on Wall Street and kind of took some years off, and now is back kind of doing the Clinton investigation, along with, he was kind of brought in by Jerome Corsi, who's the D.C. bureau chief of Alex Jones. So he's got a book coming out, so I wanted to plug that, and I just wanted to say we had a nice chat. It was very nice to get the support. I'd like to meet Jerome as well. Maybe we'll start tweeting him as well. What I'd like to also do is say, at George Webb, with no E on the end of George, is my Twitter account. And every time I come across a document, whether it's a real estate summary or a speeding ticket or whatever that's relevant to the investigation, I'm going to start tweeting it real time. So for those folks who want to be like right on the, at the phone of the reporter, you'll see what I see as I get it. The other piece I'll do is these kind of quarterly updates during the day, so that it's more of a summary. So if you don't want to watch the live feed, it's kind of, it's not really a journalism school in theory. That's really Lee Stranahan. This is more of a kind of a journalism school in reality, not reality, but document by document, I think. And as I learned, I will pass on what I know to everyone else, or what I learned anyway. So that's the strategy here. A couple of documents came out in the interim here. This, of course, now is getting to be the very famous Springfield home with all these Rammies and Sammies and itinerant workers from Pakistan, as well as fathers that are in far-flung police force, DynCorp trained police forces, and so forth. We have other folks that may or may not be involved from India that are in State Department and so forth. So there's a lot of moving parts to this. I'll keep trying to simplify. The key person I've focused on so far, the other person with Imran here. This is Imran's really first home when he comes to Washington in 2004. So who he lives with and who he meets up with and who his contacts are going to be very important. And then we're going to follow the life trajectory and changes. So this Sam Tokir Winfield is an important guy, and the 17 tickets are important to telling the story. So that's why I'm going to tweet these out as they come in. That's why I call them Sammy's 17 tickets. They kind of describe a rat line. And here's Imran's first house he buys in 2004. And here is the house he upgrades to in 2008. He has his wife buy it, which is Hina Alvi. That's the famous Marine in the doorway, Marine on the saying, "Hey, here are the stolen Blackberries and stolen laptops." And then we still have to answer the question: is Sammy Tokir Winfield, is that Rammy, or is it two different people? Now I have a real estate transaction for a third house called the Bristow House, and this is even further out from DC and more upscale. At last sale, it sold for $1.7 million. The Bristow House is where Sammy Tokir kind of migrated to. That's his latest address, sort of thing. So you'll see these documents come out as they go. They're a little bit hard to read, but this one up here is that Bristow House I was talking about, and there's the $1.7 million figure. And I'll just point out here that this is Ramesh C. Jain. And then Ramesh C. Jain sells the home. He has it from 1985 to 2004, so about 20 years. He bought it for 125, and he sells it for 600,000 to Samson Winfield. So if they're two different people, then they are tied together by the sale of this Bristow home. Now, the Social Security number for Ramesh Jain, or at least his email, is tied to the next home, which is the Hawkshead home, where Imran sort of upgrades to. But here's the Springfield home he buys. Here's Imran buying it. Here's Imran buying it right here, 2004, November of 2004. He sells it in the summer of 2008. Why does he sell it on July 1st, 2008? Because his wife bought the other house here at Hawkshead at the end of May 2008. So he's upgrading. Hina Alvi is the one who purchases it here. So he buys it through his wife. So you can through this just metadata, you can kind of see the life trajectory and the associates of Imran. They're going to be looking at other people as well along the way, like this Muhammad S. Malik. Maybe Muhammad S. Malik is of 111 fame. Who knows? But then we'll be looking at the parking ticket or the speeding tickets as well. This is a speeding ticket, $92 fine out in Bristow, so near this home, and it's a little bit farther outside of Washington. So you could guess that you maybe be speeding to get home at times. But the interesting metadata that comes from this is that it's a white Caucasian in 2008. So that leads me to the theory that maybe we'll see more tickets. We'll see if we get a change in race or. I doubt we will, but maybe we will. We got 16 more tickets to look at. So I just wanted to kind of go over that. It looks like we'll be doing this analysis of homes that different people registered that were tied together with that Springfield house and that Lorton house, the Hawkshead house. We're going to Atlanta after this. So this is the analysis of the Euclid area. And then the next place we'll be going is Atlanta. We'll keep following the documents, keep following the facts. So since we found Ramesh C. Jain, maybe this Ramesh S. Jain that we found is not related to the story at all. It was interesting, though, because he's classified, works at classified. Anytime I see that works at classified, works at State Department, I called the State Department, asked for the cultural affairs specialist, no record of Ramesh S. Jain ever working there. And the first thing I thought of was Eunice's Sewing Machines for Kidneys program, but the better angels of my nature plied me away from that thought. Again, we're going to be going. Somebody mentioned also that the laptops could serve as a BlackBerry Enterprise server. So if you were trying to monitor a whole bunch of people in the State Department, let's say 19 different people in the State Department that had separate emails, and you were trying to control all their communications, you could use laptops like Huma did and Anthony Weiner did to log all their calls. So you could have all 19 people's communication at all times. So you could kind of be checking up on them. So for the first time, I didn't really realize this. Those laptops could have been BlackBerry Enterprise servers and have all of Huma's 650,000 emails on them. Just an interesting what if, but I thought I would mention it and see if it helped any other folks. I won't say anything else about Mike Rupert or Gary Webb at this point, other than to say I'm following the same pattern that they did. Is Gary Webb especially just went with public documents. The public documents wrote the story, basically wrote the Nicaragua Iran-Contra story. And then all the things that came out of that later, the gangs, the strategy of the CIA with the gang, counter gang. So that's it for right now.